All right, everybody. I can get this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So it's not so big. The Y&H, we went to get it online. Tried several different combinations of cables just in case the terminal end on the end wasn't like what it needed. Never would fire up. The LED would flicker for a second and then would just shut back down. The instructions say that it's low battery, but it's not that because the batteries are fully charged. The maybe it's a like a also in the instructions it called for a fuse to be in there or a breaker that could be reset. I'm waiting on the technicians right now. I've got a message into them. Otherwise, we're still hooked up. We did finally get this monstrosity worked out. That's a lot more work than y'all might understand as far as the wheelchairs involved. Is what I'm trying to get at. Is it takes a minute to get some stuff done, but so far it's doing real good. We are at 77 degrees or 77.8 coming out of the floor. Why it's like that, I don't know. Normally, the coming out of the floor would be slightly warmer, but is what it is this morning. Here's the mess now. Like I said, all the tools get rowed to one direction until I can get them put upstairs. It's just how we have to do it in the wheelchair. Everything works around the wheelchair, is what I'm trying to get at. If you can't work with it, if you make too much of a mess and get it in your way and then you can't get behind it to get what you need, then it's a deal breaker. So, it is what it is. Believe I'm going to repurpose the little cart. I got a nice Craftsman metal, all metal drawers and everything that I might put on it. But I'd have to get some kind of a block or maybe even a wooden countertop or something like that. I don't know, because if I put the toolbox on top of this, it's going to block anything in that drawer. So what I've thought about doing is taking that drawer over, and it would give me more height room on anything in that shelf, and then just put a maple top over the top of that. I think I've mentioned that before. And then put my workbench or my tools and all that jazz on it. And like even if that was flipped upside down, is I could put, this is just a box of sockets. It has stuff on top, but it's just full of sockets. Not that I would want to put that there. I'd rather get a toolbox, y'all, but I've only had one good toolbox in my life, and I got it on a trade for doing something else, and the guy didn't have the money, and I felt like I was getting cheated out of it. On the way home, somebody said, "Boy, that's a good-looking box," and I said, "What would you give me for it?" Thinking that I was really going to get stiffed on the price. I didn't realize what good toolboxes were, and I mean good. This was like a Mac or a Snap-on back in the day when they were the only names, or I don't remember all the different ones it was. But it was a really nice toolbox, roller bearings and all that jazz. Now they're all kind of like that. And then the old boy, he shot me a price for like $700 above what I was expecting from the job and what I was thinking I was getting screwed out of by this silly toolbox. And I said, deal. Before I could even think about how handy it would be to own, I was thrilled to offload that dude. I look back at that, and I've never bought one because they were always, like for a good one, couple thousand. Now they're cheaper. For one even of that quality is what I'm trying to get at. But you live and learn. I was young when I did that, and I've thought about that my entire adult life. How quick I was to try to get rid of that box. Would I do it again? Probably not. I really would like to have a box like that. I've seen one at Harbor Freight for like $300-400, something like that. That would serve my purposes real well, where I could have boxes like this up on top, and they open. It had a work surface and all that. My other big box of stuff. But it is what it is. Okay, back to this, y'all. is this ain't hooked to nothing. It's just there. It's like my Porta Power. And if y'all are doing them jackery things, this is a much better. Even a battery like so, or even one of the flat, like they're about $700. The flat 48 volt 100 amp battery, and then pick up something like this. Before the tariffs, this was like 100, just over $100. Now it's like 300. It Same manufacturer, so I can't dog on this just right out the box. Very good unit right here, and I didn't even have the instructions when I first set it up. It's a very good, very forgiving. Has all the protections, has all the everything. I was expecting that to do the same. It just didn't, is what I'm saying. Sometimes that happens. We'll see how what the people say about what they're going to do with it, for as far as exchanging it, or maybe I can open it up and get in there and reset a thing. I don't mind doing any of that. This one here, it has a breaker on the outside just for that, right? You can't probably see it in the dark, but right there, it has a breaker just for that, and it did need that when I first hooked it up. And that's all it needed, is when it was firing up, is just to hit that button, and it went right on with it. Thinking that's what that needs, and it needed an external button too. A lot of their models have that button on the outside. This one does not. That's the deal. And so I don't think it's a bad inverter. I just think that it's an inconvenient location for a reset button to put it inside is all. But like I said, we're waiting for them to say one way or the other. Other than that, don't know. But, I mean, if they screw me out of this one, would I buy another one from them? Probably not. But just because I had a bad issue with this one, if they replace it and it works, would I consider buying another one? Oh, you bet. I can't say enough good about this little dude. It just works really good. Provides all the power I need. It has and not just to the deal. It has a big surge that it can work with. It has not. I got nothing bad to say about the little guy. And especially for the price point, that was dirt cheap, y'all. I mean, you can't expect anything that cheap to work that well, but it really did. And his work flawlessly every day, without any question. And when they don't burn down your house, that's always a plus. Inverters are real. I mean, you're talking real voltages, real, the amperage, the capacities, everything in there gets hot. When it overloads, man, they go. I wish this was like a metal room or in the nose of a 20-foot cargo container or something like that. Would I feel better? Yeah, I would. Maybe some of y'all don't realize I was a first responder for decades. Fire department, wore the little hat, the whole bit. Showed up in the trench coat. That was me. People don't realize how quick stuff can get out of hand, like really silly fast. That's why I can't stress enough, like these breakers and stuff like that. And these are not the ones that I would recommend. This is just the absolute bare minimum that you want to do. Like when you got batteries that are combining like this in string, is on the positive of the one, put the breaker for the connection is what I'm trying to get at, to break the string. If you're combining strings like this, that's what that second breaker's for, is to break these two apart. That breaker over here breaks the string in half. You need this stuff, y'all. I can't stress that enough. I just can't. Kind of like when you're a kid, I mean, you don't want nothing for free. You do. You want it for free. You would prefer it to be for free. But in reality, you respect it and you like it so much more when you've earned it and worked for it. That's the truth. And when you're young, you go, oh, that's bullshit. And when you're old, you go, oh, that's gospel. It's just the way it is, y'all. and you try not to. You try not to. I don't know how to put that in words, y'all, but I don't know how to put it in words. Is what I'm trying to get at. But it's really the truth. You might not see it that way, but it really is. Is nothing you got to give to you. It is. It might mean something sentimentally, but if you bought it and you work for it, and you worked to make it better, and you worked and worked and worked, it's going to mean more to you. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how else to put that. I'm not saying that sentimental isn't there, just having a gift given to you, but it is not the same, is what I'm trying to get at. And I don't know what else to say about this, y'all. We're there. We're about ready to. It's early morning. The batteries are still in their charge it back mode or whatever. As soon as it gets up about 28, but it's about 27.1. These were about a tenth of a volt difference because the wires were so long, but now they're back to exactly reading. Yep, because that one just changed and that one just changed. So yeah, okay, they're back to reading exactly the same anymore. They're just in between the tenth of a point flux or roll or whatever. But yeah, now they're back on it. And this one has the load. That one is just charging. That's so. This one is more affected to the flux, to the what's coming out of the deal. And I was charging my chair earlier, and that's well over 400. And so that's probably what's causing it to blink up and down. Or, that tenth of a point to go. But all the extra cables and all the footage are gone. The charge cables from that unit are really long, but that way I can work it around, and I can that charger can charge it all. If these were all hooked in string, it would be like 72 volt. That charger can do it. They can be 12 volt or 24 volt or 48 volt. That charger can do it. It's really that versatile. It's not that huge. If you got like 3,000 watts of solar PV, you're going to need two of those. Like 4,500, you're going to need three or something like that. Or it'd be more than that. Like 5,000-ish, you're going to need like three. But they do work together real well, and they communicate together real well. These right here communicate well with the batteries, and I'm wondering if that's not what the problem is because I'm using batteries that don't have CAN connection, 485 CAN connection, and I'm wondering if that's why it won't start, why this one won't start. I don't see that as a thing because it's a standalone off-grid inverter that can run without batteries. So I don't think that's the problem. I think it's that fuse or that reset button on the inside. We'll see what they say. And I will update y'all right now, just, thoughts, prayers, all that goofy junk. And we'll just hold out and look cool while we're waiting. All right. We'll talk to you then. All right. Bye.